on your healing odyssey from chronic pain and anxiety and panic, as you're moving forward with somatic healing and nervous system regulation, it's really critical to never fight a flare. So you never want to fight a flare of sensations. I'll explain why in this video and give you some alternatives which helped me on my own long journey of recovery from being bedbound with chronic pain, intense panic for like a year, gastritis, ER, all of it, back pain, leg pain, just couldn't sit, couldn't stand, really walked through hell. So before we get into that, I'm Wolf, a professional neuroplastic, chronic pain, anxiety, trauma, panic coach. I deal with a lot of conditions. I help clients recover from things that happened decades ago by clearing their trauma, and I help them recover from things that are happening even today, like having a nervous system that's dysregulated to the point that it sends them overprotection in the form of chronic pain. So why should you never fight a flare? A flare is your unconscious mind sending you a huge wave of protection. And that protection is not a threat. It's not there to make you feel bad. It's not there to make you feel uncomfortable. It's there to make you more cautious, alert, to keep you safe, to make you go and hide, to make you go to your bed, to get away from this perceived danger or overwhelm or overload that has been accumulating and has caused your unconscious mind to think that you might not survive the next little bit of time, whether it's a few minutes, days, whatever. So really your nervous system has been dysregulated to the point where it's running hot. There's the parasympathetic, rest and digest, and the sympathetic, which is fight or flight. And you have been running in that fight or flight to the point where you get this huge flare. On my own journey, and many people will attest to this, that they get a big chronic pain flare when they try to do something that's beyond their level of what they think is their capacity. So you have these people in fibromyalgia, spoonies, who think they only have a few spoons of this energy or that capacity or whatever. And creating that kind of mental limit will cause your unconscious mind to think that if you go beyond that limit, there's extreme danger, even more danger. And so it sees that as a threat. So basically, your unconscious mind says, maybe you've walked a little bit beyond what you normally walk, or in your mind you had an idea that if you went to the grocery store, maybe because last time you'd have more sensations of chronic pain or anxiety or panic. So your mind fills in that order. It's called predictive coding. It predicts, okay, if he goes and does this, he seems a little afraid to do it, and last time he did it, so let's just make sure he doesn't overdo it, which is the mind, deeper mind, trying to keep you alive by sending a huge wave of pain. So that's what's happening with a pain flare. It's totally an interpretation. The sensations go up and then they come back down to either a baseline. In my case, for many years, it was just a baseline. Like I never felt good, like normal. Like the pain was always there. When I was awake, I was aware that the pain was there. But the flares would happen when I would go do something more interesting with my life. I tried to reclaim my life. I would sit for a few minutes, or I would go to a park and go for a walk. Anything like that, my mind would try to protect me and say, oh, I'm going to really protect him by giving him this surge, this flare. And you shouldn't fight it, because whenever you fight anything, resist anything, get angry at anything, you create an enemy, you create a threat. Even if you get angry at a mind pattern, your mind keeps thinking of something you don't want to think of, you get angry about it, You get more threat response around that. You get more of that. You get more of that thought. So that's why you shouldn't fight a pain flare, because if the sensations go up, you don't even need to call it a pain flare. Don't even need to recognize it, right? So imagine you're out hiking in the woods and there's a bear. A big bear comes walking along, a big brown bear. And maybe you're in Alaska, there's a big brown bear on the trail. Do you want to fight the bear? Do you want to get aggressive with the bear? Or do you want to just observe the bear and maybe move gently in the direction you're going if it's a different direction than the bear's going? I would say go in the different direction than the bear. Now, in the case of a flare, your unconscious wants you to be afraid. It sends the flare to make you afraid, so you'll retreat from that activity and make your life smaller and more safe. It thinks you're more safe. You're not more safe being in your bed than you are being out in the yard or going to a friend's house. You're really not. But unconscious mind thinks so. So we're retraining our mind. So when we see that bear, that flare, we don't get aggressive with it. We relax. We allow it to pass. We even step off the trail. If it's on the trail, we step off the trail. What does stepping off the trail mean? Do some self-soothing. Do some things that are relaxing or fun or funny. And now I'm going to get into some more techniques to move through that flare. But first, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to this channel and give me a thumbs up, and also ring the bell so you know when my next video is coming out. That really helps the channel. So back to the flare. You got the flare, you recognize that your sensations are higher than they were before. First thing I want you to do is to stop calling it a flare. You're going to call it a recovery response or recovery reaction. Let's call it a recovery reaction. It's a reaction on your recovery journey that's going to happen. It happens to almost everybody I've talked to over and over and over. And the way that they stop happening is when you stop giving them respect, right? When you allow them to just pass, they pass quickly. If you try to fist fight a bear, it's not going to pass as quickly. You might pass away more quickly, but this is a mind bear. It's not a real threat. It's a phantom. It's made of fog. It's a joker. It's just a phantom. There's nothing to it but fear. It's a phantom made of fear. It's a fog made of fear. So moving forward, we're not going to call it a flare anymore. We're going to call it a recovery reaction. And by calling it that, we're recognizing that we need to have this reaction until we can respond with enough calm and peace and grace and an attitude of just observation, mindfulness, lighthearted mindfulness. Once we have that, then it stops being a flare and it actually comes down. The level comes down almost immediately when you no longer give it energy. Because when you fight it and you try to stop it, you try to treat it, you're looking for drugs, you're looking for herbs, you're looking for techniques, you're looking for exercises, you're looking for anything. You'll jump in the ocean and you'll strap ice packs to your whole body. Whatever you could do to stop the flare. That's fist fighting it, friends. That's like trying to stop it, fight it. We don't want to do that. We want to let it pass. We want to let it sing its song. We want to let that big grizzly just lumber past on the trail. It might be scary. It might be scary until it isn't. Once we know it's moving and it's moving on and we're past it, that bear's not interested in sticking around. That flare's not interested in sticking around. It just keeps going down the trail. And you're done. You're like, okay, bye bear. See you later. I'm going to keep on my hike, right? You're going to keep on your healing odyssey. You're going to keep going. So that's the first thing, is to cognitively reframe it. It's not a flare. It's not this thing to be worried about. In fact, without flares, you can't really recover very easily. And I've never seen anybody recover very easily. And I've worked with some professional coaches who haven't actually been to the levels of hell that I've been to, but they had enough insight to let me know that, yeah, this is part of the journey. Like, they've seen it with their clients. One of them was a pain PT who worked for the University of Washington. And I had the sense that he was more like a traditional therapist who hadn't had a hell journey like I had, but he had the insights, he had the knowledge, he learned enough from the Australians like Mosley and Butler and those guys to know that this is a process. You go through these so-called recovery reactions, and when you go through enough of them, you get bored of them. Your mind gets bored of them. They're normal. They're no big deal. It's like my buddy who gives himself a shot every day. No big deal. Like, it doesn't matter. There's no fear anymore. You brush your teeth. Is that scary? Maybe when you were a kid, it might have been scary a few times. There are a lot of things like that. When I go give blood, I can watch the needle go in. No big deal. But there were times where I didn't like needles and I would flinch and get afraid. So we are getting bored with the flare. We're getting bored with the recovery reaction. You can laugh at it. Close your eyes or open your eyes. Laugh at it. Laugh at it now. That can take some extraordinary sense of self and strength to do something ridiculous like that. But if you got it in you, laughing really helps to move that flare along, and the flares will just stop coming. Once you no longer give them energy, they just can't keep going. They can't keep arising. Like they're going to do their own thing in some other universe, and you're going to get better and better and feel better and better. So again, please subscribe to this channel. I'm Healing Wolf. You can book a free consult with me over at healingwolfcoaching.com if you'd like to work with me one-on-one and accelerate your healing from whatever you're going through. On the free consult call, what we do is we strategize. You tell me what's going on. I start to come up with a plan and an intention. And then we talk about getting you on my calendar when that would work and when I have time, and get you in the lineup to be back to life as soon as possible. And that's the dream and that's the vision. And once I really got this, that the flares weren't something to be feared, they just fizzled out, they were gone. The bear walked on down the trail. So I have some more videos you can check out here, and you can subscribe over here, and I will see you in the next video.